Well, Africa's human rights record comes under the spotlight this week. Extreme violence, unrest, displacement and impunity and other humanitarian crises are among the issues to be discussed when the continent's head of state and government meet. Our political contributing editor, Vuyo Mvoko, is currently at the African Union headquarters and defiled this report.
Once upon a time, a continent of unending wars, famine and massive underdevelopment. Today, a continent seeing improvements it's never witnessed in virtually every aspect of its people's lives, marked by significant economic growth, fewer wars, and yes, a better than ever human rights record.
There is solidarity amongst heads of state on a number of things. There are shared points of view. There are different arguments about democracy versus stability that people will use. Are elections really a measure of democracy, or are there other things you could look at? So there isn't necessarily consensus, I think, on things like elections or mandates, but there should be consensus on things like human rights. A human rights violation is a human rights violation. Really, it's a basic fact. And I think that we can use those facts to try and get some action, some positive action from our leadership. We don't enough.
In a period the UN says it has seen a brutal disregard of human rights, extreme violence, persisting impunity, and the worst displacement the world has ever seen since the World War, it's impossible to ignore the slaughter of civilians, gang rapes, and sexual slavery that haven't stopped in war-torn Sudan. Nigerian women remain the most squirming victims of terrorist group Boko Haram, while Al-Shabaab militants continue to kill scores of innocent civilians in Somalia. Many more are dead and many more have been displaced in Burundi. Malawi's gay community lives in fear, just like Tanzania's albinos. And that's to name only a few hotspots or human rights abuses that have captured the world's attention most recently. With tens of millions of women and children still living under threat in several of the continent's 54 member states, will the heads of state and government who are going to gather here over the next couple of days take any landmark decisions, or will it be another summit in another new year, achieving very little, if anything? Vuyo Mvoko, SABC News, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.